Hey guys, it's Steph here again today, and today I'm back with a book haul. I went to a thrift store the other day called The Restore, which is for the Habitat of Humanity in Morgantown. Anything you buy that they sell, the money goes toward helping to build houses for families that get burnt out, or families that can afford to build a house, or things like that. So I love going there to kind of just like shop around. Especially to look at their books. So today's going to be a book haul. Now, mind you, since it is a thrift store, some of the books are in kind of fair condition, but it's just, I love books that have character, and a lot of them are older books. So the fact that they have like a couple creases or, you know, things like that, it just makes me so happy. So this is the bag I have, and there's about 10 books in here, so let's just get right into it. So I did a little bit of shopping around for my collection. I have a collection of photography books, textbooks I find that schools donate when the school shut down, or whenever they use, like when they upgrade to a new book. I use photography textbooks or textbooks that you can find just to explain to you how to do photography. Like I have the entire collection of the Ansel Adams photography books, which I'll do that in another video. But I found this book to add to my collection. This is Architectural Photography by Joseph Molitor, I think is how you pronounce his name. But I love that it's kind of ripped, and you can tell how long it's, you know, how old it is. Just to be exact, let me turn to the front page here, and let me see. It is copyrighted 1976, so this book was made in 1976, and pretty much all the book is just architectural, you know, photography. And I love looking at some of this because taking pictures of buildings is one of the hardest things you could do. I know that people are like, buildings don't move, they should be easy, but it's capturing the beautiful, you know, like the beauty of buildings is hard to do. And it shows you what kind of cameras were used back then. And I just love to read stuff like this and add it to my collection. So this is book number 1. I know it's kind of like, you know, but I love books with character, and that's exactly what this book has. Up next, I found this Almost Heaven, West Virginia pictorial guide to the Mountain State, which was from 1988. It's a first edition, and I'm from West Virginia, so I just thought this was the coolest thing ever. This kind of goes with my photography like collection, but it just shows you all of the beauty of West Virginia. So I have been to almost every place on this page too, which is really awesome. Next up, I decided to add a little bit of books to my Anthology collection. I don't have very many books in that collection, so I got a few. The first one I got was Stories from a Deep Well, and this is from 1987, I think, and it just has all different types of stories kind of in it. So yeah, I got that one. And then I also got 100 One Night Reads, A Book Lover's Guide by David Major and John Major, and it's pretty much every night you read one of the stories. And this is copyrighted in, it's a first edition of June 2001. So yeah, so this one's really nice, and it's in really great shape, and I only paid $1.25 for it. Next up is one that I was so super excited to find. I love reading like stories like this. Like I have all of the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark collection, and those are the kind of stuff I like the anthologies. So I got History is Dead, a zombie anthology edited by Kim Pafferenroth. So this is going to be a really awesome book to read. I found it for, again, $1.25. You can't beat it. It's in almost perfect shape. But yeah, so I can't wait to read these stories because I've been getting into like horror stories, so I'm really excited. Next up is actually a textbook I found, and I love finding textbooks that have like underlining in it and stuff like that. It makes me like just feel like I'm with the person that did it, and I love seeing it. But this is a book from Norton, yeah. This is a book from a college. It's the Norton Introduction to Literature, and it's fiction by Jerome Beatty, and it is copyrighted. Let's see. It doesn't have a date on it. Yes, there it is. There it is. This is copyrighted in 1973. As you can see, it's had a little bit of work. It's been worked over a little bit, but I just love books that have character, like I told you guys, and like this is a really good example of what I mean. You see how people have underlined it and things like that, and I just love seeing this underline. It just makes the book, I feel like. And they're all a bunch of different stories, so I can also read it as one story, or I can read it as a book in the whole. Next up, I got a few classic books. I got Crime and Punishment, and this is a really awesome cover. It's complete and unabridged, and it is copyrighted 1958. When this book first came out, or when it was first published, it was 60 cents. So that just explains to you. And this was originally written in German, I believe. Russian, excuse me. This was originally written in Russian, so this has been translated from Russian, but the pages are very thin and very fragile, so I'm really excited to read it. Next up, I have been looking for this book for a very long time, and I was just getting ready to order it on Amazon when I found it. So that's really kind of like meant to be. Is SlaughterhouseFive by Kurt Von, how do you say that? Vonnegut? Don't know. But I found SlaughterhouseFive, and this is a, oh, let's see. This is a first edition, I believe it says, and it is copyrighted 1969. Then I found Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, which is technically a classic read, and it's super small, and I think I could read it in like one sitting. And this one is copyrighted 1937 is when it actually came out, but 1967, I think it was, 1965 is this version. So that's a Penguin Classics. And I also found this book here. I decided that I was going to start making a little section on mental health, whether it be a self-help book for mental health or a story written from the perspective of someone that has a mental illness, and self-discovery and things like that, like LGBT, things like that. Because I don't read enough of those books, and I feel like it's hard for me to understand where someone was coming from because of it. And when my friend Mary came out and I started watching her video and she was talking about her sexuality, I wanted to know more about it. I wanted to be able to understand her a little more. So I decided to start making a section for like LGBT books, mental health books, and things like that. So I found this book here called Search the Silence. It's Poems of Self-Discovery, selected by Betsy Ryan. It's a very small book. It is very old, as you can see how it's written here. The copyrighted date for this one is 1974, and it's a Scholastics book. And last but not least, I finally got The Diary of a Young Girl, of Van Frank, you know. And it's not in great shape, but it's in a good enough shape that I can read it. And I've really been looking forward to having my own copy, because I read this about a year and a half or so ago on an ebook that I got for free, and it's just not the same to read an ebook. I like to have a physical copy in my hand. So this was the last addition to my collection. And yeah, so that is all the books that I got from the thrift store. All of these books came to $1.40 is how much I spent for every single book. So definitely go help out your local thrift stores, whether you have like a place like my Restore, is that what it's called? Anyways, yeah, 3 store, and then we have a retails as well, which is everything that they sell, the money goes toward helping animals get spayed and neutered and adopted. So definitely check out all of those in your community and buy books, buy furniture, buy whatever you need. Even if you only spend $10 or $5, anything helps. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye!